Collins. Okay, so if you have questions, just type them right in there, and I'll be able to see them, I think. I might have to grab that. And then what my plan was for today was I was going to go over just a few. I was going to start with fractions, ratios, proportions, and go from there. And then if you have any questions, go ahead and just post them right in there, and I'll kind of work through that topic that you throw up there. So to start with fractions, a good way to see a fraction is just look at it as a circle. How many pieces you're going to split it in? If you're going to split it into, say, 6 pieces, then your denominator is going to be 6. And then if you just color in 1, that's going to be your numerator, 1, 6. If I'm trying to add fractions together and I split them differently, I mean, if I want to add, these slices of pizza together and I split this one into 6 and this one into 8, I have to figure it out by making them kind of the same type of pizza. So if I have 8 slices here and this is 1/8, and I want to add those two together, so I'm adding a 6 and an 8 together, I need to get that common denominator, which means the same number in the bottom of the fraction each time. It's usually called the LCD, the lowest common denominator. And I'm just looking for numbers that 6 goes into and that 8 goes into. So 6 will go into 6, it'll go into 12, 18, 24, so on. 8 will not go in here, 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 but it will go in here. So 8 will go into 24 3 times. 6 will go into 24 4 times. So I need to get that as my lowest common denominator. To do that, I'm going to have to multiply this by 4. I can't just multiply by 4. It's going to change the value. So I got to multiply by a factor of 1, 4 over 4. So I multiply across the top to get 4. On the bottom, 24. This one I'm going to multiply by 3 over 3. That's going to give me 3 over 24 to give me a total of 7 over my common denominator of 24. So again, the way I add fractions or subtract fractions, I have to have a common denominator. The way I figure out that common denominator is going to be the least common denominator, so the smallest number that they both go into. I start with the smaller one. I figure all of its factors. I find the factor that the 8 will go into as well. And then now that I know my least common denominator is 24, how do I get this fraction to get to 24? Well, I have to multiply it by 4. But then I can't multiply by 4. I got to multiply by 1. That gives me 4 over 24 plus the 3 over 24. Add across the top, keep the bottom the same to get a total of 7 24ths. All right, let me check these comments here. Okay. The other topic I was thinking we could do is we could do some ratios and proportions as well. Really common one is if I have, say, 3 is to 7, what is that equal to say, 5? The way I do this is if I have one ratio equal to another ratio, whoops, let me change my camera a little bit. Too low down there. If I have one ratio equal to another ratio, that's called a proportion. I could cross multiply, take that times that, and it'll be equal to that times that. 3 times 5 is 15. 7 times x is 7x. Those two things are equal to each other. Now I have an equation, one variable x. I need to get that variable by itself. The way I get that thing by itself is I do the reverse operation. So if this is multiply, I'm now going to divide. These cancel. I have x by itself, and x is going to equal 15/7. That's an improper fraction. I could convert it to a mixed number. 7 will go into 15 2 times, and then there will be 1 left over to give me 1/7. So 15/7 and 2 1/7 are the same. This is just an improper fraction because the numerator is greater than the denominator, and then this is a mixed number, so they have the same weight. Okay, let's stay with these ratio and proportions a little longer. Let's make it a little harder. Let's say 3 plus x to 10 is equal to, say, 5 over 20. Now I have a whole thing up here. That whole thing is my numerator, so when I cross multiply here, I have to remember to distribute that 20 through that quantity. So I have 20 times the quantity, 3 plus x, and that's going to be equal to 5 times 10, or 50. From there, I'm going to divide both sides by 20 to remove that. These are going to cancel. 50 over 20, well, I could reduce first. 10 will go into both of them. And that's going to leave me with 3 plus x is equal to 5 halves. 5 halves, I could leave it like that if I want, which might be easier. Or I could turn it into a mixed number, 2 1/2, either way. Maybe I'll do it both ways here. So I'm still trying to get x by itself. I'm going to subtract 3 from the left side. I'm going to have to subtract 3 from the right side. These two things, I'm doing the same thing on both sides of the equation, so it's staying balanced. I can't really subtract fractions. 3 is the same as 3 over 1. I need that common denominator. So this is going to be multiplied by a factor of 1 to get that common denominator. So x is going to equal 5 halves minus 3 times 2, 6 over 2. I have that common denominator. 5 minus 6 is -1 over that common denominator of 2. So my answer, x, is -1/2. Okay? The other way I could have done it is, where were we at here? We had 3 plus x is equal to 5 halves. You could just kind of think this one through a little bit, maybe save some time on that problem. 5 halves is 2 1/2. 2 1/2 minus 3. 2 1/2 minus 3 gives me the same, -1/2, if you could do that in your head. Convert that improper fraction into a mixed number and then subtract 3 from it. All right, I see a bunch of comments here. Let me see if I could go through some of these here. Ready for some math? Do you have new words for the ASVAB? Oh, I do have some new words. Let me see if I can write this question on from Selena here, and then I'll go over to some words. A salesperson works 3, So I'm on Selena's question in the chat. A salesperson works 3 days per week. She earns 1/3 of her pay on Monday, 1/4 of her pay on Tuesday. This is a good problem. How much of her pay does she earn on Wednesday? So what we're doing here is, this is actually a little bit of a distractor, but she's earning 1/3 of her pay on Monday, 1/4 of her pay on Tuesday, the remaining amount of pay on Wednesday. So this fraction plus this fraction plus this fraction, whatever it is, has to equal 1. Same idea, the way I add and subtract fractions, I have to have that common denominator. The lowest common denominator for 3 and 4 is going to be 12. I got to multiply this by a 4 over 4. Multiply this by a 3 over 3. This is going to give me 4 twelfths. This is going to give me 3 twelfths. This is going to be that common denominator of 12 to equal 1. Well, 1 is the same as 12 twelfths. I keep that common denominator the same. So 12 is on all of them. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 5 gives me 12. So on Wednesday, she makes 5/12 of her wage. Let me see if that made sense right there. How much of her pay does she earn on Wednesday? Yeah, so she will earn 5/12 of her pay on Wednesday. We don't know how much her pay is unless if they say her total amount of pay was like $100, then I'd have to do 5/12 of 100. But in this problem, there is no amount, so they're just looking for a fraction. Correct answer is 5/12 on Wednesday. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere here. Okay, I don't have these on the overhead. I only have them here. I haven't put them on the overhead. But we could do some vocab here. I don't know if this will work really, but just do it out loud. Anticipate most nearly means foresee, calculate, recall, surprise. Anticipate is you're thinking about what's coming on. So the correct answer is A, foresee. Okay, here's another one. Commend most nearly means help, force, praise, observe. Commend is to tell somebody they did a good job, get a commendment. So correct answer is C, praise. Vend most nearly means cover, respect, sell, purchase. And then you try to get these right before I do. So I know it's super hard to do them by just listening instead of seeing them in front of you. I don't actually know what vend means, but I know vender in Spanish is to sell. So the correct answer has to be C, sell. So vend must be a Latin root word. Correct answer C. Terminate most nearly means amend, enforce, conclude, violate. Terminate, everybody's favorite movie, Terminator, is the end. So it means to finish or to conclude. Correct answer, answer C. Number 19, reminisce most nearly means assistance, recollection, protection, consider. I think when you reminisce about old times, you're thinking about old times. So correct answer is B, recollection. Ponder most nearly means compute, feast, explain, consider. To ponder on something is to think on it, or D, consider, considering it. 21, apparel most nearly means equipment, apartment, luggage, or clothing. Apparel, correct answer is D, clothing. So I'll come out with a video with more vocab. I don't know if this is actually that helpful, me reading it. I'll bring it back up on the overhead, but I don't want to leave the live to do that. Let me just check these comments again here. Okay. So I think what I'll do, hopefully this is going well. I like this problem a lot. This is a good fraction problem. It's all about common denominators. I was going to do a few more algebra problems as well. And those algebra, I'll just come up with one here, like 3 plus 2x is equal to 6. We'll just start there. So the whole idea of algebra is you have an unknown and you need to solve for that unknown. The way you get it by itself is you reverse the operations. So when we're doing evaluating expressions, we're using that mnemonic device PEMDAS. And what that PEMDAS means is you do parentheses first, then you do exponents, something to the power, then you do multiplication or division from left to right. They have the equal, these two have the same weight. And then after you do that, then you do addition, subtraction, left to right, whichever one comes first, left to right. Addition, subtraction has the same weight. Multiplication, division has the same weight. Okay, So that's how you evaluate an expression. So if I had something like, actually, I'll put this algebra on hold for a second, and we'll do one of these first, and then we'll go backwards. So if I had something like 2 plus 3 quantity squared plus 5 times 7, that's an expression. There's no equal sign. There's nothing to do but simplify it. So if I have this expression here, I have to do my parentheses first. So I still have that 5 plus 2 plus 3 is 5 squared times 7. So I did my parentheses. Now I'm doing my exponents. That's an exponent. That 5 squared means 5 times itself. So I have 5 plus 5 times 5, 25 times 7. Now I have to do multiplication or division before I do addition. So 25 times 7. I know 25 times 4 is 100. 25 times 8 would be 200. So it's got to be 175. I'll multiply that out too. And then now I do that addition. 5 and 175 is 180. If you didn't get that right there, I'm saying 25 times 7 is 35, carry the 3, 14, 15, 16, 17, 175. So that's how my order of operation works, PEMDAS. Okay, so with all that said, let's go back to our algebra problem here. And on this algebra problem, I am reversing those operations. I need to isolate my variable x. I got to get that x by itself. So the way I do that is I do the opposite of that. I have to get rid of that 3 first. I do whatever I want to this equation, as long as I do whatever on the left and I do it equally on the right, because it's an equal sign. If I subtract 3 there, I subtract 3 there. 3 minus 3 is 0. Those are out. Gives me 2x by itself. 2x is equal to 6 minus 3, 3. So I did my addition subtraction first. This is being multiplied. I reverse it by dividing, right? Because I'm going backwards through my order of operations now. I reverse it by dividing. Those cancel. That gives me x by itself. X is equal to 3/2. That's a great answer. That might be one of the multiple choice answers, but more likely it'll be a mixed number. 2 goes into 3 one time with 1 left over. So 3/2 and 1.5 are equivalent. However, this is a mixed number, probably a better multiple choice solution on a multiple choice test. And then that's an improper fraction there. Okay, with all that said, hopefully you have this down in your notes. I'll put up another algebra problem up here, and then you can go ahead and solve it, and then watch how I solve it. Let's say I have 5x plus 2 minus 3x is equal to 6 times 2 plus x. It's a lot. This is a big step forward. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is what's called distributing, because 6 is times this whole quantity right here. So I got to distribute it through that quantity. I'm going to kind of simultaneously add similar terms together. So I have 5x minus 3x. 5 of these things minus 3 of these things is 2x, plus that 2. 2x plus 2. Now I'm going to distribute that 6 through the quantity to get 12 plus 6x. Now that I have that equation, it's getting a little simpler. So the next step is still trying to combine similar terms. I'm going to subtract 2x from the left, subtract 2x from the right. I do whatever I want, as long as I do it to both sides, so that thing stays in balance. 2x minus 2x, those just cancel. 6x minus 2x is 4x. I have that 12 on this side, the 2 on this side. I'm going to subtract the 12 from both sides. Those will cancel. Now I have that 4x by itself. 2 minus 12 is negative 10. Last step, I'm going to get that x by itself. It is being multiplied by 4. So I'm going to reverse that operation, divide by 4. Divide the right, divide the left. Negative divided by a positive is a negative. It's x is equal to negative 10 fourths. That is not a reduced fraction. I know that because they are both even. 2 will go into here 5 times. 2 will go into here twice. Negative 10 fourths, negative 5 halves. Those are equivalents, meaning they mean the same thing. This is always a better answer, the reduced fraction. Or negative divided by a positive is a negative. I could turn it into a mixed number. 2 goes into 5 twice with 1 left over. These 3 are all equivalent. Most likely this will be the multiple choice answer there. Okay, turn the page. Any more questions here? All right, I'll keep going with some algebra here. If this is kind of the best thing to do, definitely comment in there, you know, or in the chat what topics you need more help with. I've been teaching high school math for 31 years, so a lot of these topics that I pick are really kind of the stumbling blocks to move on in math class. So these algebra fractions, algebra when it ends up being a fraction as an answer, those are just tricky problems. You see them a lot, and you see them a lot in the ASVAB, both the arithmetic reasoning as you're trying to reason through those word problems, and also in the mathematical knowledge. So let me come up with another one here. I'll just keep making it a little bit harder. 5x plus 10 minus 3x plus 4. This whole thing right here multiplied by 2, and it's equal to 6x plus 10. Okay, try and do that one really quick, and then I'll go ahead and do it as well. This one, there are 2 pieces here. Let me just double check this, make sure I'm on screen. Two ways to do this. One is I could distribute this 2 through the whole quantity, which is a great way to do it, and then solve. Or that whole thing's being multiplied by 2, so I could just get rid of that 2 by dividing the whole thing by 2. Those will cancel, and then I don't have to do all that distribution. Either one will work. I'm going to do that. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Again, if I do it to the left side, I have to do it to the right side. So here I have that 5x plus 10 minus 3x plus 4. Dividing the left side by 2. Also have to divide that right side by 2. 6x divided by 2. 6 over 2 is 3x. Plus 10 divided by 2, 5. You got to remember the whole quantity is being divided by 2 there. Now that I have that, I'm going to combine similar terms. 5x minus 3x is 2x. 10 plus 4 is 14. And that's equal to 3x plus 5. From there, I'm going to get all the x's on one side. I could do it either way. I could put them over here and have a negative x, but I kind of prefer to work with a positive x. So I'm going to minus 2x from both sides. Those will cancel. I'm going to get rid of that 5 right there. So 2x minus 2x, those cancel. 14 minus 5 is 9. 3x minus 2x is 1x. 5 minus 5 is 0. So I have a value x equals 9, and there's my solution right there. Okay. Any questions at all on that? All right, I did type out a few problems here as well. So here's some mathematical ability problems I'll do. 3. So then answer A is addition, answer B is multiplication, answer C is subtraction, D is division. And the question says, the dots in this expression, so these are dots. This is a mathematical knowledge problem. The dots in the expression right here mean that these numbers are to be A, added, B, multiplied, C, subtracted, D, divide. Correct answer to those dots are the same thing as multiplication, so the correct answer is B, multiplication. Here's another one, and I'll read it, and it's a multiple choice answer. So it's going to be 250, 150 are the answers, 165. I'll read it and then I'll write down the key numbers. A salesman bought 50 brushes for $3 each and sold them, so he bought them for this, and then he sold them for $5 each. How much money did he make? So the first thing you probably want to do is just take that 5 times 250. That'll be a distractor. That'll be answer A. It's not the correct answer. You could do 50 times 3 to get 150. Again, that's not the correct answer. He sold all 50. He sold all 50 for the $5. You can figure out what he sold them for, what he bought them for. Or a quicker way to do this problem is if he sells them for 5, he buys them for 3, he makes $2 a brush. $2 times 50 is $100. Correct answer, answer C right there. A lot of ways to do that problem, but if they are asking you how much was the profit, you could just find profit per unit, multiply it by the number of units. Okay. There's another problem. If x is equal to 2, 6x minus x is equal to what? 12, 10, 6, or 5. So before I even do this problem, the one thing I see is that there's a subtraction sign here and multiplication, so that's kind of going to be the trick. I'm going to take that 2, plug it in here and in here. So I have 6 times 2 minus 2. Order of operations, multiplication before addition, subtraction. 12 minus 2, correct answer, 10, or answer B. Okay. Here's the answers here, A, B, C, and D. 2/10, 5/10, 1/4, 5/2, and then the question is 1/5 has the same value as which fraction below. So this is kind of, why it's so important to understand this common denominator, understand ratios. There are so many problems like this. Well, I could look down here and see if I could figure it out. It does look like if I multiply this by 2 over 2, it would give me 2/10, and that would be my correct answer right there. 5/10 is a half. I could eliminate that. 1/4 and 1/5 can't be the same. This is a really big number, right? 5 over 2 as an improper fraction would be 2.5 as a mixed number. So correct answer A. Okay. Any number can be evenly divided by 5. I'll just read this one out. If A, the last digit is a 0 or 5. B, it is an even number. C, it is an odd number. D, the sum of the digits is 5. So it's kind of really decoding the English. Any number that ends in a 5, like 125, is divisible by 5. So the correct answer is A. The last digit is 0 or 5. Take a little pause right here, and I could go over how to figure out how numbers are divisible. So every number is divisible by 1. Even numbers are divisible by 2. So if it's any even number, it'll be divisible by 2. 3, you add the digits together. If the digits are divisible by 3, then the number is divisible by 3. So if you had a number like 81, 8 plus 1 is 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. 9 is divisible by 3. Therefore, 81 is divisible by 3. 243, is that divisible by 3? 2 plus 4, 6 plus 3, 9. Those digits add up to 9. So 243 is divisible by 3. You can see it here. 243 divided by 3. 3 goes into 24 8 times. Give me 24. Bring down the 3, 81. 4, I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half again. If I could cut it in half and cut it in half again, then it's divisible by 4. 5, it ends in a 5 or a 0. 6 is going to be the same trick as a 3. You could try it again. They won't add up and be divisible by 3. I don't know if there's a trick for 7 or 8, 9, or 10. So those are that's a good trick to know. Okay, let's keep going here. Which fraction is represented in the lowest terms? 2/4, 2/6, 5/10, D, 3/5. So the question is, which fraction is expressed in lower terms? Well, this is even. Both are even, so it has to be divisible by 2. Both are even, has to be divisible by 2. 5 goes into 5 one time, into 10 twice. 5/10 is 1/2. 3/5 cannot be reduced. So what fraction is expressed in lowest terms? Correct answer, answer D, right there. Oh, let me catch up with my comments a little bit before we do some more problems. Selena has a question there. How did I get that 5? I already forgot what we were doing on that problem. Oh, no, I got it. I know where she is. How did I get that 5? Because I said 4 plus 3 plus what? I don't know what that is, right? So I don't know what that is equal to 12. All of those fractions have that common denominator, so those are all the 12s. So just in the top, I am saying 4 plus 3 plus I don't know. I don't know means x. So 4 plus 3 plus x equals 12. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus x equals 12. Subtract 7 from both sides. That gives me x by itself. 12 minus 7 is equal to 5. So this fraction here, Wednesday, has to be 5/12. Watch your videos for 12 days. Study for the ASVAB. Got an 80. That's a great score. Oh, cool. Well, that's great to hear. I love hearing that. Very nice to hear. Did I miss anything up here? How do you divide mixed? Oh, that's a great question. How do you divide mixed fractions? Okay, how do you divide mixed fractions? So if I have 3.5 divided by 2.5, that's kind of a hard problem. Let me just do a couple of little pre-problems before I do that hard problem. If I have 1/2 divided by 2/3, the way I divide fractions, I keep that front fraction the same. I change that to multiplication. When I change that to multiplication, I flip that over to make it 3 over 2. Multiply across the top 3, multiply across the bottom 3/4. So I have 1/2 divided by 2/3 is the same as 1/2 times 3/2. I'm going to do that here with these mixed numbers. The first thing I'm going to do is turn them into improper fractions. The way I convert 3.5 to an improper fraction is, what I'm saying here is my parts have a 2 in them, right? So I have to take that 3 and I multiply it by that 2, and then I add the top. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7.5. Let me just double check that by reversing it. 2 goes into 7 3 times with 1 left over. So I take that 3.5, I convert it to 7/2. I'm still going to stick with my divided by here. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So I have 7/2 divided by 5/2. Now is when I'm going to use that for multiplication. So I'm going to take 7/2 times the reciprocal of 2/5, right? Division is the same as multiplication with the second term flipped over. Now that I have that, I can multiply across the top, across the bottom to get 14/10, or I could reduce. Reducing early on will always be easier. 2 and 2 will cancel. When they cancel, they just become 1s. 7 times 1 is 7. 1 times 5 is 5. I'm done. My answer is 7/5. That is the correct answer. However, the multiple choice answer, especially if you are given mixed numbers, will probably be a mixed number. I convert that back to a mixed number. 5 goes into 7 one time with 2 left over, so it's 1 2/5. All right, hopefully that made some sense. Yeah, 1s always cancel out. It goes back a little bit there. How do you divide mixed fractions? Let me do that one too. Or did I do that one? No, let me do that one specifically. So I have 1 3/4 with that line, 2 1/4. Let me just double check them on doing the right things here. How'd you get that 5? Okay, Bert has a question there, the kind of math you recommend studying. I'll go over that in 1 second. Let me do this one. Mixed number division. That bar like that means the same thing as 1 3/4 divided by 2 1/4, which means the same thing as 1 3/4 divided by 2 1/4. Those things all mean the same. I'm going to turn this into an improper fraction. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7/4, divided by 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, 9/4. Then now I'm going to multiply. So the way I multiply again is I got to flip that one over. So that becomes 4/9, and I stick with that 7/4. So I have 7/4 times 4/9. It's kind of an extreme x right there. Get rid of that. We'll just use that dot. My 4s are going to cancel. Multiply across the top to get 7. Multiply across the bottom to get 9. Correct answer, 7/9. It is already a proper fraction. Numerator smaller than the denominator there. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. Those are tricky, mixed numbers, fractions. And then answering Bert's question, like what kind of math do you want to study? There are so many of these on there that are fractions, mixed numbers, ratios, proportions, decimal conversion, percent conversions. There's just so many of those pieces. There are 2 math portions which really have the most weight in the overall ASVAB. The one math portion is arithmetic reasoning, and that's really kind of giving you word problems and figuring out how well you could decode that paragraph, convert that paragraph into some sort of mathematical expression, and then solve it. So that's arithmetic reasoning. Again, fractions, ratio, proportions, percents, decimals are a big part of that. Then the other math test is mathematical knowledge. And that mathematical knowledge is kind of your classic high school kind of math. Like, do you know how to find the area of a triangle? Do you know how to find the area of a circle? Do you know order of operations? Can you simplify this expression? So kind of, do you know the rules of math? Is that mathematical knowledge portion of the exam. Okay, hopefully that answered the question. Cash Forever taking the test tomorrow. Good luck. Angelo Brooks asking about more with percentages. Okay, so let me talk about percents. Those are good problems. So 1 is all of it, everything, right? Like if I'm drawing that pizza with my fractions in there, I am saying I have 1 pizza. 1 pizza, or 1, is the equivalent of 100%. If you eat every slice, you ate 100% of that pizza, and it's just 1. As a fraction, it's 1 over 1, because 1 divided by 1 is 1. As a decimal, it's 1.0. Those are all equivalents. So 1 and 100% are the same. If I have a decimal, well, if I have like 50%, and I want to convert that into a decimal, this is my little trick I remember it by. I've been doing this forever. I think of this thing as like a little arrow. The decimal is here. That arrow is saying take that little dot and move it over 1, 2 places. So it goes over 1, 2. So 50% is the equivalent of 0.5. 123%, saying take that dot, move it over 1, 2. So 123% is 1.23. 150%, take that dot and move it over 1, 2 places. 150% is 1.5. Convert that into a fraction was 1.5 over 1. It doesn't make any sense to have a decimal inside a fraction, so I got to get rid of that decimal. So I'm looking for numbers to multiply it by to get a whole number, right? So 1.5 times 2 is going to give me 3. I can't just multiply by 2. It's going to change the whole value. But I can multiply by 2 over 2. This is equal to 1. Won't change the value. So 1.5 times 2 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. 150% is equivalent to 1.5, is equivalent to 3 halves. Improper fraction. Mixed number 2 goes into 3 one time with 1 left over. All of these are equivalents. And being able to go back and forth between the fraction, the decimal, and the percent is a really key idea in both mathematical knowledge and arithmetic reasoning, just a big part of the test. Oh, it's all right. Come on in. All right, so let's keep going. Let me check this live chat here. So if I had find 30% of 200, so the first thing I'm going to do to find 30% of 200 is I'm going to bump that decimal over 1, 2 to get 0.3. Of means to multiply 200. So then I just line it up above and below. 200 times 0.3, 0, 0, 6. I have 1 decimal place over here. So I go 1 decimal place over here to get 60. So what is 30% of 200? The answer is 60. The key with those percents is to be able to go back and forth between decimal and percent and fraction, and so forth. Some of the percent problems in the arithmetic reasoning portion of the ASVAB that are really hard are percent markup and percent discount. And, and this is a little tricky and surprising. So let's say I sell a shirt for $50. Now it's on sale for $45. How much of a discount is that? So the way I figure out what percent discount is that, I have to do how much of the discount. So 50 minus 45 is 5. I'm getting $5 off. I do the discounted amount over the original price. 5 over 50 will reduce to 1 over 10. 1 over 10, I might recognize that is 10%. So that is a 10% discount. Okay, but this is the tricky part here, because these are not going to work out the same. If I bought a shirt for $45, or no, I bought a shirt for $45 and I sell it for $50, what percent did I make? So I bought it for 45, I sell it for 50, what percent did I make? Well, I made that same $5 profit. However, my original amount was at 45. So I don't divide by the 50 now, I divide by the 45. I might be able to see this as a fraction. 5 goes into here 1 time, into here 9 times. I have it as a fraction. The way I convert this fraction to a decimal to get it to a percent is I think of that fraction like this, and it falls over. So how many times does 9 go into 1? Well, it doesn't. So it has to be 1.0. 9 goes into 10 1 times with 1 left over. Bring down the 0. 9 goes into 10 1 time. Bring down the 0, right? And it's going to keep going like that. That decimal place goes up. It's just going to be 0.11 repeating. So now I have it as a decimal. I'm just going to stop at a 0.11. To go back to a percent, I'm at 0.11. To go back to a percent, I go over 1, 2, and that gives me 11%. So this is one of the percent questions. They do this a ton in arithmetic reasoning word problems. If I buy that shirt for 45 and I sell it for 50, I made $5 profit. That $5 has to be divided by the first number. If I had a shirt for 50 and I sell it for 45, what is the discount? It's still a $5 change in price, but it is 5 divided by that 50. So this is a 10% off, but this is 11% markup. So they don't work out the same. The key to remember is you're going to check the change in price and always work with the original number. And those are the trickiest percent problems. Kind of going on a little bit of a rampage here. Let me check this. Talking way too much. You see here. Okay, I see. Okay, I think that's pretty good. It's a good percentage trick. How does 1.5 times 2 give you 3? Oh, that's good. Oh, keep, change, flip. That's a good trick right there. How does 1.5 times 2 give you 3? So I got, how does 1.5 times 2 give you 3? So I'm converting that sentence into an equation or a math statement. 1.5, well, I could do this 2 ways. I could just do 1.5 times 2. 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. The decimal place is over 1, so the decimal place is over 1 right there. So 1.5 times 2 is equal to 3. The other way to kind of think of that as well is I could turn it into a fraction, like 15 out of 10 times 2 is equal to 3. I don't know if that's going to help anywhere. Then I could reduce 2 goes into 10 5 times. 15 over 5. 5 goes into here once, 5 goes into here 3 times. 3 is equal to 3. I don't know. I think this is probably the easiest way to do it. Just do the decimal, multiply it out to see 3 right there. Playing with those numbers in your head is always a good idea. Okay. Oh, Jake, 48. That's awfully kind of you. Thank you. Keep, change, flip. I do like that rule. I think I might get in all these questions. This Chromebook idea is working pretty well for me to figure it out. Let me see here. I'll keep going a little bit longer. Let me see here. I got a few more problems. Seems like actually kind of a cool way to learn math. Okay, this is kind of a long problem. So I won't write it all down. The multiple choice answers are A is 10 cents, B 15, C 25, and D 30 cents. And then the problem says, during a sale, 20-cent bars of soap are sold at a rate of 3 for 50 cents. How much is saved on 9 bars? So I got the key numbers written down there. I'll read it to you one more time. See if you can figure this out before I get there. During a sale, 20-cent bars of soap were sold at a rate of 3 for 50 cents. How much is saved on 9 bars? So this is an arithmetic reasoning type of problem. A lot of decoding the words here. Let me read that one more time. During a sale, 20-cent bars were sold at a rate of 3 for 50 cents. So I got to figure out the sale price, right? Then once I figure out that sale price, then I have to figure it out times 9. It's going to actually be, okay, well, let's do that. So 3 bars are for 50 cents. So I have to figure out how many times 3 goes into 50. 3 goes into 50 one time, bring down the 0. 3 goes into 26 times to give me 18. 2, so 2/3. So if I have 3 bars for 50 cents, that means 1 bar is 16 2/3 of a cent, or 16.67 cents per bar, right? So how much is saved on 9 bars? So 9 bars, I am saving 20 minus this, right? So I'm saving like 3 cents on a bar times those 20 bars. It's getting pretty complicated. Because it's getting so complicated, I know I'm doing it the wrong way. There's got to be a simple trick for it. So that simple trick is, if I am talking about 9 bars at this rate, 3 for 50 cents, 3 times, let me go to a different color, 3 times 3 is equal to 9. 50 times 3 is $1.50. So here I am paying $1.50 for those 9. Here I'm going to multiply 20 cents times 9. 20 cents is 0.2 of a dollar. 0.18. Decimal places over 1, 2. Decimals over 1, 2. At 20 cents a bar times the 9 bars, I would pay $1.80. At 3 for 50 cents for 9 bars, I'd pay $1.50. What is my savings? My savings is answer D, 30 cents. That's a really good problem, because I'm going crazy over here doing these long divisions. It's not working out. Because it's not working out, and I really shouldn't be spending more than a minute or 2 per problem, this has to be a more complex way to solve a simple problem. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much right there, and that made some sense. Okay. How do you offer online tutoring? Unfortunately, I'm not really set up for online tutoring. I got a lot going on. I don't know if I could set that time aside to do that. But I did think, setting this up every day, or every week, if I do like Wednesdays at 4 p.m. every week, you could always type in those questions. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Fresh King got that 30. Good. I like it when you throw those out. Let me go ahead and do this problem right here from Jake. If a car rotates at a constant speed 552 times in a minute, how many times does it rotate in half an hour? So this is kind of a proportion. It is saying 552 rotations per minute. How many rotations per half an hour? 30 minutes. That's rotations, right? My units have to be the same, so I need to convert that half an hour to 30 minutes. My units are the same. And then the question is, how do I go from 1 to 30? Well, I have to multiply by 30. Therefore, how do I go from 552 to x? I have to multiply by 30. So I take 552 times 30. I could just multiply it by 3 and then add the 0 at the end. I'll do it both ways to show you that. So here I go 0, 0, 0. Placeholder. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 3 times 5, 15. Plus 1, 16. Add down 0, 6, 5, 6, 1. And then if it rotates 552 per minute in half an hour, it'll rotate 16,560 times. If I did that 552 times 3, I got to make sure I remember to add the 0, a little note to self. 6, 15, carry the 1, 15 plus 1, 16, add the 0, gives me the same value. So a little quicker way to do it when you're multiplying by a factor of 10. All right. I think I answered all those questions pretty well, or maybe I did. Right. Start wrapping it. I mean, I'll do a couple more here. So here's another problem here. A is 6, B is 4, C is 3, D is 2. And try and get this before I do it. Again, I won't write it all down. I'll read it. A radio stations use 1/6 of its time for news. In a 12-hour day, how many hours are used for news? So I take that fraction, 1/6 is news. In a 12-hour day, that's just going to be multiplication. 1/6 times 12. 6 goes into here once, into here twice. Correct answer, answer D. Anybody knock it out before I race through it? We got that one right. Okay, I'll do one more here. I'll write the answers down first. A 2 times 1 plus 0. B 6 times 0 times 8 times 0. C 6 minus 6 times 0. D 0 minus 1. Okay, here comes the problem. Which of the following is equal to 0? So this is the mathematical knowledge. Do you understand the properties of 0? So mathematical knowledge. So here I have to do my parentheses first. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Well, that's not equal to 0. 0 times 0 is 0. Correct answer right there. 6 minus 0, 6. 0 minus 1, negative 1. Correct answer is answer B right there. Okay, here's that algebra equation. Multiple choice answers are 3, 4, 9, and 12. 3, 4, 9, and 12. The algebraic problem is 3x plus 6 is equal to 18. This is a math knowledge, checking to see if you know order of operations. Go ahead and give that a try. First thing you do is you subtract 6 from both sides of the equation. That's going to give you 3x by itself. 18 minus 6 is 12. Still solving for x, this multiplication. Got to divide both sides by 3. Those will cancel. 12 divided by 3 is equal to 4. Correct answer, answer B right there. Maybe I'll make a full-length video and throw all these math problems in there. There we go. One more here. Here's a substitution problem. If A is equal to negative 1, B is equal to 2, and C is equal to 3, evaluate the expression A plus 4B plus 2C. Then your answer choices are A is 16, B is 15, C is 14, D is 13. I'll just give you a quick second to work on that one, and then we'll go over it right there. Give it a minute. Okay, so what I'm doing here, and I got this negative, it's kind of tricky, I know. You can take that, plug it in there. That 2 goes in there. That 3 goes in there. Negative 1 plus 4 times 2 plus 2 times 3. Negative 1 plus 8 plus 6. All my multiplication's done. Now I just do addition. Negative 1 plus 8 is 7. 7 plus 6 is 13. Correct answer, answer D right there. All right, I think I might start wrapping it up. I'll end it on some juggling. If you want to learn how to juggle, the only way to learn how to juggle is to practice. You can't really watch me and know anything about juggling. You got to just practice. Same thing with math. You just got to do a lot of practice. I have that book, Math Test Success. You can get that on Amazon and kind of work your way through there, do more and more problems, the keys in there. If you're new to the channel, think about subscribing. I really appreciate your support. All in all, I feel like this Wednesday class went pretty well. Pretty good questions in there. I mean, they're great questions in there. They're really good questions in there. And it gives me an idea of what I should focus my videos on. So with all that said, I really appreciate you all watching. Thank you. Let me make sure I copied everyone there. All of the highs right there saying hello. Answer the questions. And I'm going to try and do this as a routine. So if you have questions during the week, you can kind of write them down and save them. And then on Wednesday, or you could always post them in a comment on a video. Or I guess I release the videos on Tuesday at 4 p.m. So you could always go through that video. If you have questions, post them in those comments. And then I'll try and remember to review those comments on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Might be better to join back in on Wednesday and then retype them in. I don't know if I'll keep track of that. All right. Well, I really appreciate you watching. Thank you.